I'm thinking I should be doing this show with a live televised audience. It should be like some kind of sitcom from the 1970s, right? Like a full kind of laugh track. Well, you can't hear that. It doesn't play that way. Yeah, I've got one. It's good. Tony Katz today. Good to be with you. This is the Brick House Maduro right there. That is what we are smoking. Grab one. This is JC Newman. Smoke them if you got them. Got a huge show today. I'm glad you're here. Let us begin. Her name is Iryna Zarutska. What you are about to hear is a story not of some girl's murder, because there are a lot of murders that take place. Too many. We could agree. Too many, even if the crime statistics are down. Tony Katz today. Good to be with you. No, I share the story for the reason that these stories should be shared. We have a problem in society. When a woman in her 20s can sit down on the light rail in Charlotte, North Carolina, and the man behind her, for no reason, pulls a knife and stabs her to death. That's what happened. This is what took place over the weekend. You may, because you pay attention to a lot of the quote-unquote non-traditional media, you pay attention to this show, you are checking out blogs, you're engaged with platforms of new media. You may have heard this story. Not if you read the New York Times. You never heard this story. Only CNN talked about it, and that was just a little while ago, mid-morning on the Monday after this took place. Why was this story not told about this Ukrainian immigrant who left Ukraine because of the war and was living in the United States? The story of this black man who had already been arrested numerous previous times, who wrote a note, or signed a note, I should say, promising that he would show up for his court date. This is the kind of people who are in charge of our court system. Some judge who, as we have seen, not only said, well, sign this and you promise to come back for your court date, but also believed in a lot of services for these kinds of mentally ill people. And she ran one of these kinds of places. So was she not incarcerating these felons so she could profit off of them? We'll save that as the story grows. Let's talk about Iryna. Iryna Zarutska walked onto the light rail in Charlotte. Think of it as a subway, if you will. She sat down. The man behind her is this black man. Since I have a policy of not using the names of murderers, I'm not using the name. She didn't, as a white woman, say, oh, that's a black man. I'm afraid. I'm not going to sit there. She sat down. She was looking at her phone. That guy was just sitting there. There's a video out because there's a surveillance video. That guy was sitting there. That guy was minding his business. Sees this woman. Then pulls a knife, lifts his right arm up as high as it will go, and that's where the video stops. That's where the video stops, because that's when the stabbing began. The video continues with him walking up and down the light rail inside the car there, right? The subway car, if you will. And there's just blood everywhere. Cut himself, whatever the case may be. There was just blood everywhere. Which means he killed this woman on a subway car with other people in the car and no one noticed? I'm sure we'll get more information. When it happened, the mayor put out a statement. And the mayor's statement, Mayor Lyles of Charlotte, she, the first black mayor of Charlotte, put out a statement saying we need to have compassion for the mentally ill. You mean the mentally ill guy who had been arrested multiple times already, who just murdered this young woman, who murdered this Ukrainian woman, who did nothing wrong? Do me a favor, producer Landon. Can you find out how old Iryna Zarutska was? She was 23? Thank you. No mention of this 23-year-old from the mayor of Charlotte. No. That would be to humanize her. We have to say, what has happened to this man? How do we stop this mental illness? We need compassion. No mention. No mention of the victim. She came out with another statement later and mentions the victim. The story got no play. And why? Why did this story get no play? The story got no play for two reasons, and you already know what they are. The first one will seem like the most obvious one. The first one is that he is black and she is white. And anybody who wants to go on a race fight with me, go right ahead. 833-GOT-TONY, 833-468-8669, 833-GOT-TONY, Tony at TonyKatz.com, Twitter X at Tony Katz, in the chat room on YouTube, Tony Katz, Facebook, Tony Katz Radio. This murder does not fit narrative. Daniel Penny, the military man, former, or I should say retired, on the train in New York. He is white. He sees a black man menacing members or people, passengers on the train, physically going after them. He subdues the man. That man unfortunately died. That is a horrible tragedy. But it wasn't the white guy attacked the black guy. That black man was intimidating passengers. That white man tried to stop it. It ended very poorly. In that case, got coverage everywhere. Nobody waited 24 hours, 12 hours, 2 hours, 2 minutes. This 23-year-old white woman gets killed by a 30-something-year-old black man. You can't find it in the New York Times. It does not exist in the New York Times. Doesn't. I checked it this morning. I checked it midday. It does not exist at all in the New York Times. Maybe by now they've gotten to it. So the number one conversation, why didn't they report this? Black man, white woman. Can't have that story. Can't tell that story. And for anybody who wants to argue it on the left, you know it's true, so what are you arguing with me for? That's a fact. The double standard conversation in full display. But now we get to the number two. Why can't you talk about it? Because all across the country, all the political left wants to tell us is that crime is down. So what Trump is doing is, of course, ridiculous and just for show because crime is down. I will put forth to you that the numbers dictate in a great number of places that crime percentage-wise is down. What that number does not show is the amount crime has gone up during the Biden years, nor does it discuss crime 10 years ago versus today, nor does it beg the question, or ask the question, I should say, are we okay with these numbers to begin with? If crime is up 3,000% over the last 4 years, and I came up with a number, I invented that number, but it was down 5% last year. Do you really get to say crime is down? Do you have any idea how ignorant and foolhardy that argument is? You don't want to talk about a crime because you don't want to say the word crime. You want to pretend that everything is fine. And nothing is fine. To quote Marcellus Wallace, I'm pretty blank and far from okay. This woman was killed and nobody wants to talk about it for racial reasons, for political reasons. But they knew they would have to talk about it eventually. The powers that be, this mainstream media that we no longer trust, would eventually talk about the story. They didn't have an option. It was going to happen. So they come up with some headlines. They come up with a whole bunch of headlines. The headlines include things like this. Grisly Charlotte stabbing video fuels MAGA's crime message. Right. This is about us. This is about conservatives and libertarians and anybody who isn't a radical progressive. We're only talking about this because it helps MAGA. And if that headline's not enough, again from Axios, here we go. The gruesome video of the fatal knife attack on Iryna Zarutska on a light rail car in Charlotte is drawing attention from MAGA influencers seeking to elevate the issue of violent urban crime and accuse mainstream media of undercovering shocking cases. I'm not accusing. I'm stating it as fact. I am stating it as fact that the New York Times, CNN, MSNBC, ABC, NBC, CBS, the Washington Post, etc., have no interest in covering these stories. I'm not trying to make an accusation. I'm stating it. But again, Axios, not once, twice. This is the fault of MAGA. This is the fault of the political right. That is one heck of a statement. And if you say to me, well, Tony, maybe you're reading into it. Okay. This is Axios. The big picture, they say. The rising number of surveillance cameras in public spaces, including on Charlotte's light rail, has become a big accelerant in these cases. The video is easily shared or leaked and can instantly pollinate across social media, a visual counterpoint to statistics showing crime decreases. So now, first Axios blames it on MAGA. Then Axios, says MAGA is making a big deal out of this for no reason. Then Axios doubles down on the MAGA attack. And now, the issue is surveillance cameras. I put forth to you that we have way too much surveillance going on. We have way too many cameras. Always cameras, nothing but cameras. It's very China creepy. The issue is the surveillance camera, Axios? Do you have anybody who works there who isn't a total jerk? Do you have anybody who works there who has any kind of concept of journalism at all? It's the fault. And the problem is we saw it, and therefore we saw it, and that goes against what? How the left keeps telling you the crime is going down by its 5%. If you trust the mainstream media, you are out of your mind. If you trust the New York Times, you are criminally insane. You want to be lied to. And I have said it, and I will keep saying it to the extent that President Trump can make it happen. The New York Times can no longer be the paper of record. I don't know how you make that switch, but make it, and make it now. It's over. This is beyond unserious. This is the proof, though, of what it is that we're discussing, what it is that we're engaged in, what it is that we're sharing. They don't speak honestly. They speak in narrative. They speak for purpose, do these news organizations. And the purpose is whatever victory they are trying to achieve and whatever attack they want to initiate. The problem is not that Iryna Zarutska. I'm sorry, I didn't want to pronounce her name wrong. Zarutska. Iryna Zarutska. The problem is not that she was murdered by a man who had so many run-ins with the authorities, it's hard to keep count, who had to sign a letter to promise to come back to court. The promise is not the problem is not a black man killing a white woman. The problem is not even that this will make you think there are large crime statistics when there aren't, which of course there are. The problem is you noticed. And we have to keep you from noticing by therefore putting in all these other things. But when we want you to notice, well, we make that the front and center story before we let you know any other information. All you need to know is white racist, and that's it. You're watching it happen in real time. You're watching the manipulation, the fraud, the unwillingness to just be honest and clear and forthright. You're watching it happen in real time, and it was a real life taken. Now, do I believe it was racial? I wouldn't have any idea, except we would be told it's racial in any other situation. Does it show us the problems that we have with our Justice Department, our justice system? Absolutely. Do we have rogue judges who should be kicked off the bench? Absolutely. And is it true that we have a mainstream media that is completely untrustworthy? Yes. You trust Axios at your own risk, Politico at your own risk, New York Times at your own risk, Washington Post at your own risk. I apologize for nothing. You trust Gannett at your own risk. You trust CBS News and their selective editing at your own risk. This woman died for no reason. We should at least say her name and say Godspeed before jumping into the politics of the thing. I'm Tony Katz, and this is Tony Katz Today. So I'm looking at ratings on podcasts, or the top rated podcasts, and how am I not top 5? This is savagery, I tell you. Nuts. Guys, good to be with you. Tony Katz. The show is Tony Katz Today. NPR is still top, followed by the New York Times, The Daily. Again, you can't trust that. Then more NPR. So if you want to know who's listening to what, now you do. Then Dateline NBC, then Fox, Sean Ryan, Pardon My Take, which is Barstool, Ben Shapiro, Stuff You Should Know in 48 Hours. And then Tucker Carlson coming in at number 18. This is the podcast industry ratings from PodTrack. So I'm here to tell you. Yeah. Yeah. Trust this stuff at your own risk, boo-boo. This is a hard business. This stuff is a tremendous amount of money. I mean, there's money to be made, but it's a tremendous amount of money that you got to put out to make it. That's the part they never talk about. Oh, just start a podcast. Everybody will find it. That is not even remotely science. Not at all. That said, I am looking for a web designer. It's time for a new site. Couple new sites. So if you know anybody, email me, Tony@TonyKatz.com. Appreciate that. Seriously. Oh, we're coming back? Excellent. Amy Coney Barrett doing the interview with Barry Weiss talking about the Dobbs decision.
But, the central message of Dobbs did not.
Actually, it wasn't Barry Weiss. It was CBS. My fault there. Tony Katz today. Good to be with you. Check it out.
But, the central message of Dobbs did not render abortion illegal. Dobbs did not say anything about whether abortion is immoral. Dobbs said that these are questions that are left to the states. All of these kinds of questions, decisions that you mentioned that require medical judgments, are not ones that the Constitution commits to the court, to decide how far into pregnancy the right of abortion might extend. The court was in the business of drawing a lot of those lines before. And what Dobbs says is that those calls are properly left to the democratic process. And the states have been working those out. There's been a lot of legislative activity and a lot of state constitutional activity since the decision in Dobbs was rendered.
Correct. And good. It should be a states' rights issue. It's setting straight the story. Let the states make the call. It's the only right thing to do. But we still get people who want to tell you that this is simply the most important subject in the history of mankind. Well, of course, the Democratic Party is desperate to make it so. One can understand. You've told people since their birth that this is part of their religion. Abortion is their religion when it's not. Then you had Justice Coney Barrett taking it a step further.
I want Americans to understand the law and that it's not just an opinion poll about whether the Supreme Court thinks something is good or whether the Supreme Court thinks something is bad. Mm-hmm. What the court is trying to do is see what the American people have decided. And sometimes the American people have expressed themselves in the Constitution itself, which is our fundamental law, sometimes in statutes.
We'll talk more about it. Keep it here. It's Tony Katz today. Here are the laws that we've made. Here are the decisions we've made under the Constitution. This means here's the direction we go. I don't agree with every one of her decisions. But the level to which she is comfortable, able to explain herself, and then she was asked, did she regret the smackdown of Ketanji Brown Jackson? She's like, nope. I think that was the one with Barry Weiss over there at Free Press. I thought that was pretty glorious. Pretty glorious indeed. Cindy, thank you. Appreciate it. Regarding the first segment, thank you very much. Right there. What else do we have? What else do we have? I don't think we have. President Trump spoke earlier. I will share that coming up. Let me see what else. I am not listening to remarks from Zoran Mamdani. I'm not doing it. There are people who want to hold out hope that he is not going to win this mayor's race in New York. He's going to win this mayor's race in New York. I don't know how. I don't even know how we could question whether or not that's the case. Somehow everyone's going to come to their senses and say, all right, he may have been a cartoonish figure in New York for the last 30 years, but Curtis Lee was our guy. I'm not even mad at the dude. I'm just discussing reality. I just don't see it. I really don't. And someone's trying to troll me and doing a very terrible job. If you follow me on Twitter X, it's great. If I could tell you, sorry, guys, sorry. Producer Landon being a total scumbag. He's like, hey, can you show me where East Jerusalem is on a map? And it goes to a tweet from Emmanuel Macron, and I'll share it. I will get, these lowlifes. This guy is from Indiana, and he's trying to troll me, and it's just, it's so great. Can you do me a favor when you can, Producer Landon? Everything that this guy Matt has put out there, will you clip it? Will you take a picture of it? Thanks. Coming back, guys. Good to be with you. I'm glad you're here. Oh, this shirt with my Fletterman Von Reese right there. Went with the black on black. Feeling very Johnny Cash. So President Trump sends out a tweet. What do they call it when it's on Truth Social? It's just a post, right? Let's call it a post when it's on Truth Social. Tony Katz today. We are live streaming. Check it out. Go to youtube.com/Tony Katz and be a part of it. It's also on the Twitter X at Tony Katz, Facebook, Tony Katz Radio. I believe it's on LinkedIn. I do. I send it to LinkedIn. I really don't know why. I'm not quite sure. I don't know what I expect. Like, would a LinkedIn audience watch it? But I send it. I send it there. So check it out for yourself. Be a part of it. Get in the chat room. Do the whole thing. 833-468-8669. 833 got Tony. That's how you get to be a part of the show. My thanks to Fletterman Von Reest for all their support. This is the watch you want to wear and pass down through the generations. Von Reest, Rieste, vonreest.com. Use my last name, Katz. Get your discount. You should do that right away. vonreest.com. Here's what President Trump tweeted out. It was a it was like a cartoon of him. And the cartoon, sorry about that, showed him as Robert Duvall in Apocalypse Now. Or Kilgore, I believe was the name of the character. Yeah. And so he's there. He's got the hat, and there's helicopters flying and bombs dropping. There's fire behind him, and it says Chipocalypse Now. Like Chicago. Not Apocalypse Now, the movie, Chipocalypse Now. And the post was, Chicago is about to find out why it's called the Department of War. And then followed up by saying, wait, where was it? I have it right here. I love the smell of deportations in the morning. That's actually the way he started. I love the smell of deportations in the morning, which is the takeoff of the line. I love the smell of napalm in the morning. And then says, Chicago's about to find out why it's called the Department of War, Chipocalypse Now. And people went nutty. Allow me. This is an absolutely ridiculous and terrible post from the president. I don't care if he's doing mean tweets. I have always cared that he's doing dumb tweets. Do not get in your own way. The last time I had a response like this was when he tweeted out, I hate Taylor Swift. If you want to do that now, well, it's after the election. Fine. But you were running for president, and I wasn't interested in anything that wasn't talking about the subjects that would get you elected. I don't like anything that gets in the way. I can't stand it when he gets in his own way. Anything that takes away from the border, that takes away from the crime conversation, that takes away from the necessary buildup of our military, that takes away from the issues with China, and talk about a place where Trump needs to be far more aggressive. He was better in the first term on this than he is now. No, we're not going to allow 600,000 Chinese students into the United States to learn from our universities, to then take that knowledge back with them to do us harm. What are we all, nuts? We're not going to engage in some kind of computer anything with China where they steal our technology, steal our information, and then cut out our workers. Not a chance. That's insane. I don't like anything when the president does when he gets in his own way. Discussions of violence in Chicago, issues in Chicago, is good, important, valuable, worthy, and the rest of the country is paying attention. They're seeing success in DC, and they are asking, why can't we have success where we are? Of course, the left is not asking this. The left is saying our cities are fine, just like we were discussing regarding the murder of Iryna Zarutska in Charlotte. They don't want to talk about it because, well, murder's down, and this will just interfere with that narrative. Crime's down. We can't be showing a woman being stabbed to death for doing nothing wrong. You could show me the data's down, but you also have to accept the fact that we're not going to 100% trust the data. Not that I don't want to. It's that some cities have fudged it. Some cities haven't sent in everything. And we keep hearing this story, and we'd like some clarification on it so we know there's actually something we can trust. I don't want the president doing things that take away from this message. Declaring war on Chicago. Chicago, about to find out why it's called the Department of War, is declaring war on Chicago. Now, if you were to ask the president will tell you that's absolutely not what I was doing. And he got pretty rough with a reporter.
That's fake news. When you say that, darling, that's fake news.
Well, why would you the Department of Defense?
Listen, be quiet. Listen. You don't listen. You never listen. That's why you're second grade. We're not going to war. We're going to clean up our cities. We're going to clean them up so they don't kill 5 people every weekend. That's not war. That's common sense.
I don't disagree. If you had just said that, it would be fine. You put out the post, Mr. President, and if a Democrat had put out that post, the political right would be losing their mind. When Joe Biden said, what makes these people with guns think they're going to be able to fight back against the government? We've got fighter jets. I'm sorry, what? Did you just threaten American citizens? Your gun rights don't matter because we can still kill you? It was Eric Swalwell who has echoed that message. And I, being a guy on the political right, said, are you out of your mind? Allow me a little continuity with the thread. Mr. President, are you out of your mind? I want you to win the fight. I want you to win the fight. I do not want you to do anything that distracts from it. And the fight is even greater than the idea of any level of safety or security in Chicago. It is the idea that America sees that there is a way to approach these things. Does it mean every single time in every single place in every single way you got to put some level of troop on a street corner? No. It means you have to be willing to decide that the law-abiding people are more important than the lawbreakers. And if we just go about enforcing the law and applying the law, we will have a better quality of life. You just have to have the willpower to do it. It's just like the border all over again. You did not need more legislation. You just needed somebody who had the will to go get it done. Just go get it done. Go push that message. That message is a winner for 2026. That message has a value. Stupid memes have no value. Memes that get in your way have no value. And the way to know that I am correct in my assessment is Trump now having to say, I didn't say that. But you did. I go back to the first term. I used to use this line a lot. And remember, I voted for Trump not once, not twice, but thrice. I was never MAGA, and I was never Trump. Never Trump is certifiable. It's the most pathetic, embarrassing movement I have ever witnessed, ever. There is nothing more non-conservative than MAGA, than never Trump. MAGA was populist. I understood that it was populist. I understood that I wasn't a populist. Like, okay, I can handle that. I know what I'm voting for. I know what I'm getting here. Some things will really work out for me. Some things I'm going to have to fight. Never Trump is the most non-conservative movement in the history of so-called conservatives, and that's why it has Bill Kristol and Goldberg. David French can be all parts of the Never Trump movement that he wants. Forget him. And what's his name? Rick Wilson? Dear God. Dear Lord, you cannot spell scumbag without Rick Wilson. Never Trump is not a conservative philosophy because, well, what if that's the best move? The conservative sees the world the way it is and works within it. The liberal sees the world that they want and tries to bend everybody to their will. I had Trump or I had Hillary. I had a 50-50 chance of getting what I wanted with Trump, and I had no chance of getting what I wanted with Hillary. And your argument, Never Trump, was Hillary? Good Lord. That is some ignorant stuff. Your argument is Joe Biden over Donald Trump, Kamala Harris over Donald Trump? I didn't say you got the candidate you wanted. I'm talking about reality. Never Trumpers are not grown-ups. They are not men at all. At all. The rational mind could see something that works and see something that doesn't, go with the odds, and then discuss things as they happen. Cleaning up the streets, really, really, really good and really valuable. memes about war against Chicago, they screw your message. I don't want that. I want to win the fight. Then I want to win the midterms. Then I want to win 2028. And I don't want these progressives who have a very anti-American point of view and a pro-crime point of view that are going to get me or my wife or my kids killed. I don't want them in power. So if you could help me out with that, Mr. President, that'd be great. Don't do things that get in the way. Because I always remember the most important part of this conversation. He works for me. I don't work for him. I'm the citizen. You're the citizen. He works for us. And what do we want? Safe streets. When do we want them? Now. And how do you get them? By discussing honestly how you create a safe street and not getting in your own way. It was a silly post. And he created distraction for himself. He's got to do much less of that. Keep it here. This is Tony Katz today.
Race for New York City Mayor, Governor Kathy Hochul appeared.
Welcome back. Tony Katz. Tony Katz today. Good to be with you. What's going on? What's going down? What's happening? What's with you? I am scheduled to be on Newsmax 6:25 Eastern time with Carl Higbee. So they did a shuffle over there. And so Carl had the 5 p.m. show, and they just moved him to 6 p.m. And they moved Chris Salcedo to 5, and they moved Greta Van Susteren to 4. Interesting. I'm not quite sure all of the dynamics in there. I often look at those kinds of shows, like look at the cable. I'm like, would I enjoy that? And the answer is, sure, TV's fun, right? Great and fun. And if there was an opportunity, I would take it. I said this about CNN. Give me the midnight to 2 a.m. show. Jim Acosta said he was too good for midnight to 2 a.m. I'll take it right now. With everything else that I'm doing, I'll take that show. Be a joy. You know how much fun we'd have with that show? Holy heck. But I think I want to do more Larry King-esque, Charlie Rose-esque, but keep my pants on. Playboy After Dark style. And so give me more in-depth conversation that could be both entertaining and intellectual. And don't make me have 2 pundits on who I know exactly what they're going to say and then move on to the next two pundits. That I don't want. I do not think I could do that as effectively as other people. I think they'd be far better at it than me. Every step of the way. Also, why is my social media feed filled with discounted mugs? Did I click on mugs all of a sudden? Yeah, right. I looked at a mug, and the next thing you know, hey, you want mugs? We'll give you mugs up your wazoo. So, like, I don't know. Anybody need a Tony Katz mug? I do have some Tony Katz mugs. I do have some Good Morning mugs. Right? Show me that you follow me on Twitter X. The first 3 people show me they follow me on Twitter X. I'll send you a mug. I'll send you a mug right now. I'll send you a mug. Show me that send it to me, Tony at TonyKatz.com. Show me you follow me on the Twitter X, and I will send you a mug right now. Well, I'll take a couple days, but I will send you a mug. I got some mugs. Maybe I need more mugs. You can never have too many mugs.
For the race for New York City Mayor, Governor Kathy Hochul appears to be inching closer to endorsing Democratic nominee Zohran Mamdani. What questions do you still have? Can you give us a timeline for your decision?
No, there's been so much speculation about what I'm going to do. I think the bigger question is what the voters of New York want to do. I vote in Buffalo, New York, just for the record. I'm not in New York City. I'm here part-time. But listen, it is up to the voters, and there should not be outside influences on this decision from the White House on down. Let the voters of New York decide. But my job is whomever is the mayor of New York, I need them to work with me to make sure that we continue to be a company that prizes and celebrates people's success.
Company, you're a state. Secondly, you haven't endorsed Zohran Mamdani because you don't want to be seen endorsing a communist. But most importantly, other people should stay out of it. Aren't you a state that supports California engaging redistricting because of what Texas did? It was the argument here on this show that if Texas does redistricting, that's a Texas issue. And you, California, should not be engaging in retribution. It's for the people of Texas to decide whether or not they like the redistricting, and then they can go about voting out people who engage the redistricting. New York now wants to say stay out of the New York mayor's race? That's what the governor wants to say? That is rich. Did you tell Gavin Newsom to stay out of the Texas redistricting conversation? I wonder if these people hear themselves when they talk. Tony Katz, did I say hello, Tony Katz, today? That's the name of the show. Why am I asking it like a question? I know it's the name of the show. I don't know if they hear themselves when they talk. You know, I've said for the leftists, I've said this for years. What they said yesterday has no bearing on what they say today. And what they say today will have absolutely no bearing on what they say tomorrow. You knowing history, you remembering is just, why are you so obsessed with me? Oh my gosh, you're so obsessed with me. That's how they work. It doesn't matter. Whatever will satisfy the emotional itch at the moment, the emotional need at the moment. It's hard to operate when you don't have a core. Remember, the core of progressive politics right now is we hate Trump. That is the fundamental, that's the basis of the entire party, which is why as a Democratic Party, they have not been able to engage any messaging that works with the voters. Your whole messaging is hate. We hate this. We hate Trump. We hate Trump this. We hate Trump that. We hate Trump the other. It's not a way to get votes. Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son. I got a lot to get to. You're in the right place. Find everything at TonyKatz.com. This is Tony Katz Today. So here's what we got going on. I wondered, did I get emails? Did I get? Oh, I did. All right, I will check them out. Let's see. By the way, where was he? No, you didn't get blocked, Christopher. You're right here. The Doctor of Truth. Yes, I see you. I see you, but you have to show me proof of the follow. I know this is proof of the follow. Fine. You get a mug. Email me an address. I'll send you the mug. I'll send you the mug and I'll send you some of the Matt Bear coffee too. I will send that to you. Tony at TonyKatz.com. You gotta send me proof that you're following. First 3 people. 2 more. And I will I'll send you. I'll see who has sent stuff right here. I'll let you know. I was looking at the wrong thing. I will let you know. Guys, we will take the break. Hang loose. Smoke them if you got them. And we'll be back in a few. Right? Because we're in the radio break. So now we're in the break here. Kick back, relax, enjoy. All is very, very good. Stay right here. Welcome back, everybody. Tony Katz today. Good to be with you. Find everything I do over at TonyKatz.com. This is the Brickhouse Maduro, JC Newman. Bigger cigar, but unbelievable price point and flavor for the price. Just fantastic. When I'm doing the show, since I'm talking, I sometimes have to put the cigar down for an extended period of time. So I don't grab anything that's too expensive for the see, I wasn't gonna do a Mamdani story, and here they are. And oh gosh, no, I'm not doing it. Better to talk about OnlyFans, which I'm actually planning on doing. I'll get there, don't you worry. All right. Yeah, the OnlyFans story was really something else. So I will share that with you. There's that, and there's that, and there's this, and there's that. Good. What do you guys got for me? Let me know in the comments. Right there, or let me know on Twitter X, Tony Katz. Right. That's an interesting one right there. People are strange. I am good. Let's go do a show. Scott Bessent says, if you see the Supreme Court rule against us on tariffs, we're going to have to send refunds. This is going to be absolutely terrible for the country. Tony Katz today. Good to be with you. Oh, the tariffs are going great. They're going terrific. They're the best things that ever happened to us. And don't call them taxes, because that's just not the case.
To increase employment.
But, Mr. Secretary, it's not just John Deere. We've heard from a lot of different companies around the country. Nike says that tariffs will cost the company around $1 billion this year. Black & Decker says $800 million. The big three automakers all say they've had to pay more than $2 billion in tariffs. The list goes on and on. Bottom line, do you acknowledge that these tariffs amount to a tax on the American people?
Well, first of all, let's back up, because what we've seen, for instance, the Japanese automakers have said they're eating the tariffs.
But these companies say they're eating the tariffs. These American companies.
They're eating the tariffs. So, and again, there are numerous companies who are doing the opposite. You know, you're taking these from earnings calls, and on earnings calls, they have to give the draconian scenario. There aren't companies coming out and saying, oh, because of the tariffs, we're doing this. But I can tell you that whether it's Micron or Apple, they are upping their investments in the United States.
You're not going to get me to say no to that. They've announced that they're making these investments. I want to see this as an actual investment. I want to see the money go in, and I want to see the result. Same thing is true, Secretary Besson, when we talk about the deals. The deals don't mean anything unless money actually changes hands, unless they buy things. Tony Katz today. Did I say hello? Good to be with you. But they're eating the tariffs. So someone's paying the cost. Because if you think that they're going to eat the tariffs for forever, Secretary Besson, you're smarter than that. My take. You clearly know that that's never going to be the case. Or maybe I should say it this way. I have never seen that over an extended period of time, a company eats all of the costs for forever. Eventually, some of that cost makes its way back. So let's say the tariff raised the price of the widget by $10. Maybe they're not going to pass along all the $10. Maybe they'll pass along $4.72 though. And $4.72 is $4.72. It is a price increase to the end user. I think we're kind of kidding ourselves. When I say kind of kidding ourselves, I mean damn well kidding ourselves if we think that isn't the case. Can I discuss something else that I think we're kidding ourselves on? Does anybody really have a problem with taking out a drug boat? Am I understanding this right, that the political left and Rand Paul are upset with the strike on the Venezuelan drug boat? It wasn't a drug boat. It was actually the SS Minnow. Little Buddy was on board. Is there anybody questioning whether or not this was a boat coming from Venezuela with fentanyl to be sold in the United States that could, if not would, kill your kids? Rand Paul is upset with this. Democrats and progressive media upset with this hit that President Trump was talking about, and J.D. Vance said killing cartel members who poison our fellow citizens is the highest and best use of our military. Well, it's certainly a use. I mean, if we're ranking these things, I don't know, give me a couple minutes, Mr. Vice President. Maybe I can come up with a higher and a bester. But we're not going to disagree. Yes, this is a good use. I do not know if it's highest and best, but certainly good. Maybe it is after some thought. To which there are these guys. Are they brothers, the Krasensteins? And my God, I don't know how they've gotten this popularity, but they're not contrarians, right? But rather they're just goofy ideologues that are very good at trolling. And he writes, note to J.D. Vance, killing the citizens of another nation who are civilians without any due process is called a war crime, to which Vance responded with, I don't give a blank what you call it. And started with the letter S. Now, I put forth to you a couple of things. If you want to talk about killing civilians without any due process, I think it's really good that leftists like Mr. Krasenstein, Brian Krasenstein, are finally addressing the damage done by Barack Obama. I think that is so brave to discuss a president killing citizens without due process. Those drone strikes, I mean, that was Barack Obama from beginning to end, and I'm so glad now we're having this conversation. Is that what we think happened here? We just randomly killed some citizens of another nation? Is this really what we're saying? Is this really an argument? I read a National Review. I read a little bit of everything. I try my best. I don't get to everything, but I certainly try my best. That this plays in a level of murky. Okay, maybe. Maybe. But what really are we objecting to? That we didn't have somebody on the boat taking a big sniff in a white bag coming out of it like they were what's his name from the movie Airplane. I guess I picked the wrong week to quit sniffing glue. And say, yep, that's the bad stuff. What exactly did you want? Are you telling me we didn't know? Are you telling me that our intelligence is so bad, so poor, so ignorant, so incapable? We just saw a boat and we said, yeah, there, right there. Just take care of that. Right? Are you telling me that we had just engaged military policy like the CDC engaged health policy about COVID? So 5, 7, 6 feet. So everyone's got to stay 6 feet away from each other. 6 feet. That's it. No, it just looked right. It just looked right there. That's perfect. That'll keep my ex-girlfriend away from that guy. I'm gonna win her back, I promise. I'm assuming that's how the decision making went in the CDC. Is this your argument? It's a very odd argument. You've got people upset that this took place. And I'm sorry, Senator Paul, I don't think you have the argument here. There's an argument to be made about how America acts, about how America engages. And for that, I will give all of the leeway and the respect in the world. We do it differently. We do it better. We hold to a standard. I agree. Can I ask now, Senator Paul, when you will agree to take out the Venezuelan drug trade that will save the lives of Americans? Will you agree to militarizing the southern border and shooting on sight those who we know to be drug traffickers, even if they're women and even if they're children who are pushed into this by the members of the cartels? If the answer to everything, not just maybe the extreme I gave you, which other people would see as not extreme at all, if the answer to everything is no, I'm sorry, at some moment we can't take you seriously. At some moment, you are not to be taken seriously. At some moment, you have to be dismissed. He writes, J.D. Vance says, killing people he accuses of a crime is the highest and best use of the military. Did he ever read To Kill a Mockingbird? Well, there's a take. Did he ever wonder what might happen if the accused were immediately executed without trial or representation? What a despicable and thoughtless sentiment it is to glorify killing someone without a trial. Does the Ayatollah need a trial? The drug runner needs a trial? The non-citizen needs a trial? I'm asking to get the answer of when, at what moment are things allowed? Now, he might respond with, if we're going to engage in bombings of Venezuelan boats, we should be declaring war on Venezuela. I'm fine with this and I accept. Now the question is, Senator Paul, if we do a declaration of war, if the president goes to Congress, right? Because Congress has the power to declare war. That's how this works. If that were the case, the question for you, Senator Paul, is, would you vote for it? Now, I don't believe that if he had the power to vote for it, that he would. I don't believe that he would. That in every situation, he would say, well, you know, he would find a way to not. He would have a reason to not. If he was the person voting, he wouldn't do it. Senator Paul, you can't have everything your way. Is Venezuela run by a narco-terrorist? Is it run by someone trying to do harm to the United States by sending Tren de Aragua? Is it somebody who is engaged in a de facto war with us, even if troops haven't mobilized on our southern border? Since the answer is yes, my gosh, what are you waiting for? You might find it offensive to say that indeed it is not the highest and best use. You are out of your mind to say that we should allow these boats to come here and then prosecute them. And now our job is to catch every boat. Maybe a little deterrence isn't the worst thing in the world. His point is we need to hold ourselves to a standard. And my point is, I agree, but you would not hold us to a standard that allows us to protect ourselves, or so it seems. Would you or would you not vote to engage in a war with Venezuela to keep the country safe? Or anyone? Now, there's an interesting part two to this. Interesting stuff. That the people of MAGAville have a bit of unhappiness because this, with the drug boats, this is, well, Trump was going to get us out of forever wars, and here he is. We're bombing Iran, and we're bombing these Venezuelan boats, and all we're doing is engaging in war, this, that, and the other. Now we're getting more involved in Ukraine. Trump has stated, the president has stated that he wants to end for forever wars. He has never once said he is above punching someone in the face. I think the argument there is that MAGAville has to question what it is they thought they were getting. Because how'd you not know this was the guy? So no, I'm not bothered by the destruction of a drug boat. I'm not. These weren't people on a pleasure cruise. These were people coming to do harm. It's okay to protect ourselves from that. But if you want to start giving trials, how about we start with a declaration of war, Senator Paul? Let's see where we go from there. Because the people running drugs and running gang members to our border, taking over apartment complexes in Colorado and other places, yeah, those are people engaged in war with us. And I think we should win, and I think they should lose. But let's take it to Senator Paul and see what he does. Let's see how he votes. I'm Tony Katz. Sorry about that. Didn't mean for it to loop right there. Good to be with you. Looking at your comments right there, checking out some other stuff. I do have a whole thing to get into with OnlyFans. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Greg, you're getting a mug. You are getting a mug, Greg. Right there. Good work. Good work. Well done. All right. So far, where is he? You have to send me your information. TonyCats.com. I'll send you a mug. And I'll send you some of the Matt Bear coffee, as I said. And Greg, I'll send you a mug and I'll send you some of the Matt Bear coffee too. Yeah, so I think I'm covered. I think that was 3. I think that was 3. I'm sending out mugs. I guess this is what I do now. I'm a guy who sends out mugs. I'm gonna write myself a note. I do also write notes to myself. Can't keep everything in your head. Send mug. Oh, I have to send out a couple cigars today too. Send cigars. What's today? What is today? Today's the 8th. Beautiful. You got it. I don't know. Am I the only person who writes notes? Can't be the only person who writes notes. Cannot be the only person who writes notes. Oh, what was I just going to discuss right here? Oh my gosh, did I forget? Did I really just forget? No, I've got the Karen lady coming up. No, I moved that. Are we back? No, yeah, we'll go up. Mm-hmm. Can I ask why these South Korean workers are being released? It was Georgia. It was last week. Hyundai, a raid by Border Patrol, Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Hundreds and hundreds of South Korean nationals working at a Hyundai dealership. Not dealership, sorry, factory. Wasn't a dealership, it was a factory. Tony Katz today. Good to be with you. It's nuts. And now we hear that Seoul, South Korea, reaching a deal to take these people back. Well, wait a second. How'd they get in the country to begin with? How did they get hired to begin with? What exactly is going on here? And why am I hearing this from the president?
And, when they're building batteries, if you don't have people in this country right now that know about batteries, maybe we should help them along and let some people come in and train our people to do, complex things, whether it's battery manufacturing or computer manufacturing or building ships. So we're going to look at that whole situation.
That's great. I don't mind you bringing in people who could teach you how to use, how to build batteries. That's not the argument, Mr. President. The argument is, how did they get into the country? Were they working in this factory illegally? And if so, what's the fine for Hyundai? Who goes to jail? If I hired that many, they arrested 475 people. But maybe not all of them are from South Korea. Maybe some are from other places. The moral is, if that is indeed the case, doesn't someone go to jail? I've got South Korean officials saying, oh, they're so sorry. Oh, they're so embarrassed, deeply concerned, felt heavy responsibilities for the arrests of our citizens. I have questions. 475 people were detained. They call it the largest single site operation in the history of Homeland Security investigations. It involved Georgia State Patrol, FBI, DEA. I still don't know why it involved DEA, but maybe that's just a standard. A majority were South Korean nationals. How'd they get into the country? Did they overstay their visas? Did Hyundai know? Did Hyundai check? Did they provide false documents? Were they asked to provide documents at all? I do not have any journalistic skills. Not that I believe. I'm not a journalist. I do commentary. But I know to ask that. At the very least, I can ask that. Whole thing stinks to high heaven. Hyundai hired people from South Korea illegally. That's what, if that's not the story, what exactly is the story? Because that seems to be the whole story. Also, oh my, just coming out. Department of Homeland Security announcing Operation Midway Blitz. That is Homeland Security launching its new initiative targeting criminal legal immigrants in Illinois. I will have the update for you on the other side. Keep it here. This is Tony Katz Today. All right, guys, let me do a little bit of work. Excuse me. All right, that was that. That's all I needed. That was all that I needed right there. So interesting that this is now happening. I want to know if that means they've gone in. That's what I want to know. Have they gone into Chicago or not? Meanwhile, what's up with you guys? Because I do want to get into the Karen story. That story is just nutty. You could argue, Carol, that you don't want to necessarily tick off Seoul. That's what I think you meant there. South Korea, we're going to need these people if we want to be able to train people. But I still don't know that's what happened. I'm being told that's what happened. It's very odd. Who else is working where? And what is happening? What is happening at other plants? I don't think that it's I just don't think that that's an unfair question. And it's a very, very fine question. Let me go to, let me see what else we've got. Good. All right, I think I'm good. I think I'm caught up. I think I've got a ton of stuff. Too much stuff for not enough time. I do 6 hours of radio a day, and some days it's not enough. It's just not. Some days you need a little bit more. Also, this weekend, I will be speaking at the Hoosier Leadership for America Summit. This is being put on by Senator Jim Banks, and I am speaking at that. It is actually open to the public. You can register and be a part of it. There's a Friday night event. There's a Saturday event. I'm speaking. Kurt Schlichter, if you know Kurt from Town Hall and his books. I've done the audio version of a couple of his books. I think 3 of them. I did 2 of his nonfiction books, and I did one of his fiction books where I tried to do the characters. That was not my best work. That was very tough. I need a director. I would love to take another shot at that. I think I could do it. It's just not. You got to have the direction to make that happen. It was me in a booth, and it was hard. It was very hard. The other stuff, doing the audiobooks is not the easiest thing in the world, right? But it is enjoyable. I do actually enjoy it. I like it quite a bit. So anyway, he'll be there. It's gonna be a good time. I sent you the links there in the chat room. Check them out for yourself, and then check out Defiance Beef. DefianceBeef.com. Get yourself your cow. We'll talk more about that, but I gotta do a radio show right now. So the announcement, as I am looking at it, the announcement says that the Department of Homeland Security has announced that it would be launching a new initiative targeting criminal illegal immigrants in Illinois. So they put a post on X, it seems. Let me, if I can see this. DHS is launching Operation Midway Blitz in honor of Katie Abraham, who was killed in a drunk driving hit and run car wreck caused by criminal illegal alien Julio Cusilbol in Illinois. The ICE operation will target the criminal illegal aliens who flocked to Chicago and Illinois because they knew Governor Pritzker and his sanctuary policies would protect them and allow them to roam free on American streets. President Trump and Secretary Noem stand with the victims of illegal alien crime, while Governor Pritzker stands with criminal illegal aliens. Oh, dang. Well, first, if this comes from the Homeland Security Twitter X account, so someone's going to say you've politicized that. You went after him directly. That's going to happen. Then they're going to say, did you just really name it Operation Midway Blitz? Okay. Now, what will we see and when will we see it? What is it that we're going to see on the ground? When do we see it on the ground? This could be something that moves in the next month, next 24 hours, could be happening right now. Could be happening right now. I will keep my eyes on it, and if anything should develop, I'll bring it to you post haste. Okay. You're at a baseball game. You're minding your own business, sitting in the outfield. You're there with your kids. You're there with the family. You are the father. The home run ball lands not too far from you. There is, as there often is, a scramble for the ball. You end up with the ball. There it is. Baseball. Right in your hand. You walk it over and you plop it into the glove of your 11-year-old son. And then you give your kid a hug from behind. You've done that before, right? Pulled him close to you. Gave him a hug. And you're like, this is the moment. Well, I'm going to remember this moment forever. You actually close your eyes. You're a father. I'm going to remember this moment for forever. Then you have a tap on the shoulder. Excuse me, that was my ball. What? You stole that from me. Everybody knows you stole that from me. You give me that. It is a woman doing her very best to look like Elizabeth Warren. And she is wearing a Philadelphia Phillies jersey, the baseball jersey. And she's got the short haircut and she's got the glasses. A wild Karen appears. Thank you, chat room. A wild Karen appears right there. Bloop, right there in the stands. I was here and that ball is mine. Who do you think you are, stealing my ball that was up for grabs for anybody? You have to give that back to me right now. And this guy's looking at this Yenta, looks at his son and says, I'm going to have an easier time explaining things to my son than I am to this freak who, she might hit my son. She's so crazy. She walked over to scream at me about a ball. This all happened, by the way. This happened at a Marlins game. This all happened. And he takes the ball out of his kid's glove. The same kid he was hugging and saying, I'll remember this moment for forever. Oh, yeah, he will, because this has been memorialized on video. And takes the ball out, gives it to the woman, says, walk away. And she walks off in a huff. This happened. This happened in real time. The Marlins see this. They send one of their promotions people out there with a gift bag for the kid. Marcus Leonis, who owns Camper World, said, I am sending that kid and his father and his whole family to the World Series, and I'm giving them an RV. That guy could have told that woman to go to hell, to kiss off. He could have gotten away with anything at that moment. But instead, took the ball, gave it to the woman. There's a story here. Twofold. First, why did this woman act that way? Now, this is going to very possibly offend the women who listen to this show.
A bit late for that.
I might be a bit late for that. They may have already been offended. Allow me to explain what happened. Here's what happened. That woman, I'm willing to bet you all the money in my pocket against all the money in your pocket, has been terrible her whole life. Has been rude, inconsiderate, a know-it-all her whole life. You know what her problem is? No one ever punched her in the nose. This is a problem that exists with, I'm sorry, a lot of women. You have so accepted the social contract. You don't hit a woman. You don't touch a woman. You don't do this to a woman. You don't do that to a woman. You have so accepted the social contract as thinking men are weak, that you do anything you want because you have been surrounded your whole life by weak men who have never once told you to sit down and shut up. You're not special. You're not talented. Your opinion isn't that important. Stop screaming at everybody. Cut it out. They've all said, yes, dear. Okay, fine. Sure, we'll do it your way. No, whatever you want. Just stop the noise. If you would just get that awful voice out of my head. And every day there's some guy who goes to sleep whose last thought before falling into that slumber is the hope that he'll never wake up so he doesn't have to deal with that woman again. That happens all across America, and every guy knows I'm right. And if you're a woman shocked by what I'm saying, you are one of the women I'm talking about. I'm not advocating for anybody hitting this woman. I'm actually advocating for what this guy did, because he can turn to his son and say, see that woman? That woman is a complete and total freak. That is an awful, miserable woman. Now, maybe you're right that I shouldn't have placated her, but my other option was to just simply knock her on her butt. And you know what? I need you to know that sometimes you have to have restraint and control and recognize that sometimes you just get out of the problem. Oh, sure, she deserves what she deserves, but that's going to have to come from somebody else. I love you, son. You mean the world to me. We're always going to have this crazy story, we're going to come back to another game and we're going to get our baseball. And that's how every father would have said it. Right there. That's how every father would have said it. So first, that is absolutely positively what happened. That is the take. Let me go to a part 2 really quick because there's a problem. The internet saw what happened and the internet went insane. This woman did like there have been a couple of moments over the past month where the right and the left has been totally joined. What is this woman doing? The guy who stole the hat at the US Open, what is this guy doing? They're united. But the internet went so crazy that they started becoming Encyclopedia Brown. All of a sudden, they're detectives. We're going to find this woman. Internet? No. Bad internet. By the way, they found a woman. They thought it was her. It wasn't her. She had to put out a message on Facebook. Guys, it's not me. I wish I was that thin. I wish I could move that well. Also, I'm a Red Sox fan. Like it was fantastic. What are you going to do? Get so angry you find out where she lives and then you're going to go to her house? What do you do? What are you doing? What are you, one of these guys on the left who wants to go swatting people? You know she's terrible. Don't sink to her level. What are you doing? Be like the father. A little restraint. Don't find out where she lives. She isn't worth it. Now, her family needs to handle her. Deal with this. But right now, I think she's nothing more than a great example of do not raise your daughters to be like that. Guys, don't ever marry a woman like that. And if your son brings home a woman who acts like that, look your son in the eye and say, hell no, you can do better. I don't even have means, but you're signing the prenup because she ain't getting nothing of mine. Don't go after her. That's nuts. I'm Tony Katz. This is Tony Katz Today. Welcome back, Tony Katz. Tony Katz Today. Good to be with you. I haven't even checked the comments yet. What? I want to say for every woman in the chat room, this is why I love you. Because we all know. We all know who she is. You have had friends like this in your life. You have to sometimes deal with someone like this. Either it's PTA or it's a neighbor or it's a cousin. Oh, good Lord. Goodness gracious. All right. So I haven't even gotten to this. I gotta get to this. Can I get to the fact that Tucker is a tool? I will do that. Sorry. Oh, outrageously disappointed. But it's not something that can be denied anymore or debated or anything else. Do I have one of the? I don't even have one of the mugs. I gotta get one of the mugs. So I was gonna show you guys the mugs. I had them made for one of my events, and I happen to have some extras, so I'm happy to send them out. So as I said, I'm looking for a web designer, and we're going to be redoing the Eat, Drink, Smoke website, and we've been wanting to do really an e-commerce version of this for a long time, and now it's coming. We have so many cool things that we get access to. We want to be able to share them out. We have our own swag that we want to be able to share out. And really, I had built Eat, Drink, Smoke around the whole locals platform, which I think kind of works well for Tony Katz, but doesn't work for Eat, Drink, Smoke. It just doesn't. Magazine style would be better with the posts and the videos and the reviews and everything else that we do, and then the recipes we put up, and then the e-commerce part of it. So that's what I'm working on. So if anybody's out there who does WordPress, and by the way, I'm not asking for charity here. I pay. I might not pay your rate, but I do pay. So it's out there. I'm putting it out there, people. Just that easy. All right, coming back to the show. So I can tell you that I have been on Tucker Carlson's show when he was on Fox a few times. Always appreciated it. Always appreciated it. Anytime you get an opportunity to do those things. And there was a moment in my life where I did a tremendous amount of Fox, and now I'm doing a tremendous amount of Newsmax. I'll be on scheduled at 6:25 p.m. This evening. Tony Katz today. Good to be with you. Things come, things go. There are times where I talk to people and times where I don't. I don't think I have pitched a story to Fox in a while. I guess I could, but it's quite all right. I did Tucker's show then. I can tell you that years ago, I scheduled a meeting with him. I was trying this was before I ended up being in radio, because that's where I wanted to be, like a late night show idea. And I'd done a episode of it. I'm like, what do you think of this? I just wanted to get his thoughts. I didn't ask for money. I didn't ask for anything. What are your thoughts? And I don't really remember all the conversation, except I think he was thinking to himself, well, is he going to ask me for something? Does he want? I was just curious. That was it. I've disagreed with Tucker about things, but I didn't think he was just out of his mind. And certainly on his anti-Israel points, he's been going more and more down a road of ridiculousness. You know, when he interviewed Vladimir Putin, I said, I don't think there's anything wrong with the interview. But if you think that Russian supermarkets are better, you're out of your mind. That's just not possible. And then came this.
No one can plausibly claim that a Christian family are in Hamas. Okay, so like what, tell me, you can't claim that they're in Hamas while simultaneously claiming that Hamas is a group of jihadis. They're Islamic extremists, which they also claim constantly, which I don't know if that's true, by the way. It seems more like a political organization, but whatever it is, they're telling us constantly they're all.
Did you just say that Hamas seems like a political organization and not a jihadi group? They're terrorists. They're terrorists. What possibly are you discussing here, Tucker? What rational thought do you think you're having? What the heck happened? And the only thing I can come to is he has been fully Candace-pilled. I don't know what this is about this woke right, this a new right. I don't know what they call themselves, but no thanks. That's nonsense. Tucker Carlson's full of crap. Hamas is not a jihadi group. Hamas are not Islamists. Hamas are not terrorists. They're a political organization. Dear Lord, Tucker, with words like that, you're a shoo-in for the UN. Embarrassing, ridiculous, shameful nonsense. Dear Lord. I can't explain it to you. I don't know why he is doing this, gone down this road. I don't have the answer. All I know is he goes down that road alone. I've held out for as long as I can. I hope you find your soul. I vehemently disagree with you. And I really hope you lose audience, because people should listen to that and be like, yeah, there's nothing left for this guy to offer. I'm Tony Katz, and this is Tony Katz Today. Now, to that, Qatar is what happened. I can't prove that. I know some people show you this and show you that. I'm saying that I would have no way of knowing if this is a money thing. So I'm just leaving it the way it is. I'm not making that claim. I'm saying I'm out. I don't want to hear him. I don't want to know. This is nonsense. This is ignorant garbage nonsense. It is what it is, what it is, what it is. I'm done. I'm out. That's all. Other people will do what they do. They'll be mad at me for saying so, and they'll be like, no, I don't need to listen to you. It's just because you're Jewish and this and that. I'm like, okay, goodbye. What am I going to do? But if you don't know if Hamas is a terrorist organization, you think they're a political organization, that's giving aid and comfort to Hamas. I'm out from that one. Guys, I appreciate you quite a bit. The people at Defiance Beef also appreciate you. I have got like 150 pounds of meat coming in a couple of weeks. I am so excited. Place your order. Go to defiancebeef.com and use a promo code Eat Drink Smoke at checkout. That's my cigar and bourbon show. Eat Drink Smoke, and you will get $150 off. DefianceBeef.com. The steaks, the ribeyes, the strips. You get a brisket in there, ground beef. So many good things, and so much cheaper than the stores. Aged 21 days. The flavor is remarkable. The tenderness is there. Ground beef as well. Everything is aged 21 days. That process, letting you know that you are getting some really solid quality. Never mind the quality of the heifer itself. It's just so good. I have enjoyed the ribeyes, the strips. I've got the brisket still to make. We made meatballs out of the ground beef. We made burgers out of the ground beef. Terrific. You're going to love it. Go to defiancebeef.com. Use promo code Eat Drink Smoke. Get $150 off right now. And then tell them, of course, well, Eat Drink Smoke will tell them you heard about it. They'll know where you got it from. So go do that. Go do that right now. I'd appreciate it. I am back tomorrow. I am back tomorrow, and so we'll talk then. I appreciate you guys very, very much. Don't forget to subscribe. Click on the YouTubes and subscribe on the Twitter X and follow. Thanks, guys. Catch you later.